My parents demanded I repay the $50,000 they spent on my sister's wedding before they'd attend mine, then tried to sue me when I eloped. Karma destroyed them. So my parents literally itemized every expense from my sister's wedding 5 years ago and demanded I reimburse them $50,000 before they'd even consider attending mine. Then when I eloped instead, they actually hired a lawyer to sue me for emotional damages. What followed was the most spectacular self-destruction I've ever witnessed. I'm Marcus, 29, male, and this happened about 18 months ago, but I'm still discovering new levels of insanity from the fallout. My family was textbook golden child syndrome. 2 kids, parents who measured love in dollar signs, and the kind of favoritism that would make therapists rub their hands together in anticipation of decades of billable hours. My sister Victoria, 34, female, has been the center of the universe since birth. I'm talking professional newborn photo shoots with props and costume changes, baby book with every milestone documented in calligraphy, first steps recorded from 6 different angles. When I was born 3 years later, my mom took exactly 4 photos at the hospital with a disposable camera. 3 of them were blurry. Growing up, Victoria got everything. Piano lessons at $90 per hour with a teacher who'd studied at Juilliard. Dance classes 4 times a week at the prestigious academy across town. Summer programs at Northwestern's theater camp, $4,000 for 6 weeks. Every birthday was an event. Her Sweet 16 had ice sculptures and a live band. Cost my parents probably $12,000. My 16th birthday was dinner at Red Lobster with my grandparents. I got a Walmart gift card for $50 and a lecture about being grateful. Victoria's college was fully funded. Private liberal arts school in Vermont, $58,000 a year, all 4 years. Room, board, spending money, study abroad in France junior year. My parents took out a second mortgage to cover it. When I asked for help with state school, Dad said I should have worked harder for scholarships. I worked 35 hours a week at Target while taking 18 credits, graduated with $42,000 in debt and a finance degree that I chose specifically because the job placement rate was 89%. Then came Victoria's wedding. Oh Lord, the wedding. She got engaged to Derek, a guy who worked in medical device sales and had that particular brand of confidence that comes from never being told no. Their engagement was announced with professional photos on a beach at sunset, posted across every social media platform with hashtags like FutureHubby and LuckyGirl. The wedding planning consumed my parents' lives for 18 months. Every conversation became about venues, flowers, photographers, caterers. Mom took unpaid leave from her job to help coordinate. Dad worked overtime to cover costs. Victoria wanted the whole fairy tale production. The venue was a historic mansion with gardens, $8,000 just for the space rental. Photographer was someone who'd shot celebrity weddings, $6,500 for the day plus an engagement shoot. Flowers were imported orchids and peonies, $4,200. The dress was Vera Wang, $3,800, plus alterations. Her shoes were Jimmy Choo, $650. Victoria had 8 bridesmaids, required them to wear $280 dresses in a specific shade of blush pink that had to be ordered from the designer. The catering was $145 per person for 200 guests. Open bar with top-shelf liquor, another $4,000. A string quartet for the ceremony, $2,200. DJ for the reception, $1,800. Videographer, $3,500. Wedding planner to coordinate everything, $4,000. Invitations on hand-pressed paper with gold foil, $800. I could keep going. The final total was somewhere north of $50,000. My parents drained their savings, maxed out 3 credit cards, and borrowed $15,000 from my uncle. All for one day. Victoria cried happy tears through the whole thing. Derek's parents contributed exactly $0, claiming they'd already spent their wedding budget on his sister's ceremony 3 years earlier. I was expected to be a groomsman. Bought my own $160 tux rental, $95 shoes, contributed $200 to Derek's bachelor party weekend in Vegas that I couldn't even attend because I couldn't afford the flight and hotel. Gave them $150 cash as a wedding gift, which was all I could manage while paying down my student loans. Fast forward 5 years. I'd been dating Elena for 3 years. Met her through work. She's a data analyst, practical, funny, completely no drama. We decided to get married. Nothing fancy, just a meaningful ceremony with the people we cared about. I proposed with my grandmother's ring, saved $4,000. We started planning something simple. Small venue, maybe 80 people, casual but nice. Budget around $15,000 total, which we'd pay for ourselves. We both had good jobs by then. I was a financial analyst at a healthcare company, $72,000 salary. Elena made $68,000. We had savings, no credit card debt, were responsible adults. I called my parents to tell them we were engaged. Mom's first question wasn't congratulations. It was, what's the budget? When I said around $15,000, I heard her and Dad exchange a look through the phone. That seems modest, Mom said carefully. Victoria's wedding was much more elaborate. Victoria's wedding almost bankrupted you, I replied. We're keeping it simple. Dad got on the line. We need to discuss something before you get too far into planning. That tone. The serious conversation voice. I knew immediately this wasn't going to be good. They came over the following Sunday. Brought a 3-ring binder. Actual printed spreadsheets in plastic sleeves. My stomach dropped before they even opened it. We've been thinking about fairness, Dad started. When Victoria got married, we contributed significantly to make her day special. If we're going to help with your wedding, we need to address the financial imbalance. Mom opened the binder. Inside was every single expense from Victoria's wedding, itemized with receipts. Venue rental, catering, photographer. Line by line, every purchase, every payment, every cost. The total at the bottom was $51,347.82. This is what we invested in Victoria's future, Dad said. Before we contribute anything to your wedding, we think it's only fair that you reimburse us for at least half of this amount. We're not asking for the full cost, just $25,000 to balance things out between you and your sister. I stared at them. You want me to pay you $25,000 for Victoria's wedding before you'll help with mine? We want things to be equitable, Mom said. We spent this money on your sister, and it's not fair to you if we don't give you the same level of support. The logic was absolutely deranged. They'd spent money they didn't have on Victoria, and now wanted me to pay them back for it so they could give it back to me as their contribution. What if I don't pay the $25,000? The silence was heavy. Then we'd be very hurt, Mom finally said. And we'd have to reconsider our level of participation in the wedding. I looked at Elena, who was sitting next to me looking absolutely stunned. Then back at my parents and their insane binder. You spent that money 5 years ago, I said. That was your choice. I'm not paying you back for decisions you made for Victoria's benefit. Dad's face went red. After everything we've done for you. You mean the nothing you did for me? I interrupted. You paid for Victoria's entire college while I worked myself half to death and graduated with $42,000 in debt. You threw her a $12,000 Sweet 16 while I got Red Lobster. Don't talk to me about what you've done. We left. Elena didn't say anything until we got to the car, then said that was completely insane. The calls started immediately. Both parents, repeatedly, leaving long voicemails about fairness and family obligations. Victoria even called, which was rare. Told me I was being selfish and Mom and Dad were really hurt. I hung up on her. Elena and I talked it over. The more we discussed it, the more we realized we didn't want the stress. Didn't want the drama. Didn't want my parents holding their attendance hostage over money. We eloped. Took a long weekend, flew to Asheville, got married at a beautiful outdoor venue with just the officiant and 2 witnesses we hired from a local service. Elena wore a simple white dress she bought online for $200. I wore my nicest suit. The ceremony was 15 minutes. Perfect and meaningful and completely ours. Total cost was $2,800 including flights, hotel, venue, officiant, photographer for 1 hour, and a nice dinner after. We posted one photo on social media. Just us, married, happy. Caption was, "We did it our way." My phone exploded. Mom called 11 times in 20 minutes. Dad sent a paragraph text about betrayal and disrespect. Victoria commented on the post saying family doesn't matter to me. I ignored all of it. Blocked their numbers. Elena and I had the most peaceful, drama-free honeymoon week exploring the mountains. Then things got truly insane. 2 months later, I got served with legal papers. My parents were suing me for $50,000 plus damages. The claim alleged that I had accepted the implied promise of parental contribution to a wedding ceremony, and then willfully eloped to avoid fulfilling reciprocal family obligations, causing them severe emotional distress and financial damages. Their lawyer had actually taken this case. I called a lawyer friend from college who did family law. Read him the complaint over the phone. He was silent for a long moment, then said this was the stupidest lawsuit he'd read all year, and he once had a guy try to sue his parents for not making him cool in high school. I hired an attorney, $3,000 retainer. She filed a motion to dismiss with prejudice. The motion hearing was beautiful. Their lawyer looked embarrassed to even be there. The judge dismissed the case in under 5 minutes and ordered my parents to pay my legal fees of $4,200. They didn't have it. That's when I found out how bad their financial situation actually was. The lawsuit was a desperation play. They were still drowning in debt from Victoria's wedding 5 years later. Those credit cards they'd maxed out had never been paid down. The $15,000 borrowed from my uncle had never been repaid. Dad's business, he owned a small HVAC repair company, was failing. Mom's hours had been cut at her administrative job. They were behind on their mortgage, behind on car payments, behind on everything. When the court ordered them to pay my $4,200 in fees and they couldn't, I filed for enforcement. Their wages got garnished, $350 per month until paid off. That broke them. Within 6 months, they'd lost the house. Couldn't keep up with the mortgage plus the garnishment plus all their other debt. Moved into a small apartment in a rough part of town. Dad's business closed completely. He got a job doing HVAC work for a larger company, hourly wage. Mom took a second part-time job at a grocery store. Victoria's marriage fell apart. Turns out Derek had been cheating for 2 years. She filed for divorce, moved back in with our parents in their tiny 2-bedroom apartment. At 35, sleeping on an air mattress in their living room. She had to get a job. First real job of her life. Retail at a clothing store, $13.50 per hour. She lasted 3 weeks before having a breakdown about standing all day. My aunt kept me updated on all of this. I didn't feel bad. Not even a little bit. Meanwhile, Elena and I were thriving. Bought a house, 3 bedrooms in a good neighborhood. Both got promoted. Started trying for kids. Our life was peaceful, drama-free, built on our own terms. A year after the lawsuit dismissal, Dad tried reaching out through LinkedIn. I didn't respond. Mom sent a card on my birthday. I read it once and threw it away. Victoria sent a friend request on Facebook. I declined. Elena's pregnant now. Due in 4 months. A girl. We're not telling my side of the family. They'll find out through the grapevine eventually, but they won't meet her. They made their choices for 29 years. Chose Victoria over me, consistently, systematically, without ever questioning if it was right. I'm making my choice now.